talk about the fourth beast, the spirit of the fourth beast in the world today. Don't go away. All right. You like that little intro? So, a lot of things happening today or recently. The fourth beast. We talked about it last time. We said the fourth beast was explained. It was indescribable. Daniel couldn't compare it to anything. He's like, this beast is unlike any other. I can't compare it to anything. So, what is going on with that beast? So we talked about four beasts. Daniel talked about four beasts. He talked about the lion, the bear, the leopard with four heads. And then he talked about the beast, unlike any other. Iron teeth, stomping and destroying everything in its way. Then we go to John in Revelation. And he talked about the beast as well. But what did he say? So Daniel had four beasts. He saw four beasts. Remember, Revelation was sealed up for the time of the end. Remember, Daniel said, well, what does this all mean, God? He said, don't worry about it. This is sealed up until the time of the end. And I believe we are in the time of the end. John. So now John gets the vision 650 years later or something like that. And he saw the beast coming out of the water. But he saw one beast. These four beasts were combined into one beast. He said it had the body of a leopard, the feet of a bear, the mouth of the lion. And then it talked about the 10 horns again, the European nation, 10 leaders. One was going to come out replacing three. And that was going to be the Antichrist. The mouth of the lion means, or it's going to speak English. The world language is going to be English. So let me read. It says, thus he said, the fourth beast, this is Daniel, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and shall subdue 3 kings. So that's the one subduing 3. That's the Antichrist. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. Remember, he's going to stand on the temple mount, the holy mount, and claim to be God. He's going to speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time, and the dividing of times. So remember that 3.5 years is when we will see the abomination of desolation. So did you catch that? It said he's gonna come. He's gonna want to change the times, and he's gonna want everything to be different, to be new. He wants to bring change to the world. So this fourth beast, this spirit of the Antichrist, is the one world nation. What does it want to do? It wants to change everything. It wants to control. It wants to govern everything in a different way. Again, I believe that's what this coronavirus is about. Talking about how we need one world government to take care of us. We need one health organization to look over our health, or one money. That's what it's all about. This is more than just keeping us healthy and safe. More than that. It's about control. It's about the government being able to do what they want, which is give the United States over to the United Nations, the one world government. Let me read Revelation. Then I stood on the sand of the sea and saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and on his horn 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard. His feet were like the feet of a bear. His mouth was like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and his great authority. The dragon gave him his authority, his power. This is the spirit of the Antichrist. This is the spirit. The dragon is Satan, is Lucifer, is the fallen angel. That's what when we think about everything. Why is it all seem to be going? Like some great mastermind is controlling everything, from around the world to the U.S. to the health to the money. It all seems like it's going in that one world direction. Is there some mastermind behind the great curtain? It's the spirit of the Antichrist. It's the spirit of the enemy. It's the spirit of the fallen one. The king of darkness, the prince of darkness. He's the prince of darkness. He's not the king of darkness. It's the spirit that's doing all this. That's what we're battling. We're battling not against flesh and blood, but against powers in high places, authorities. We are battling a spiritual battle. This has nothing to do with the president. This has nothing to do with the governors that seem to be corrupt, telling us you better stay in here. Some of these nations in the world they're getting put in jail just because they're not wearing a mask, or because they go out. They're getting in serious lockdown. We're still in a okay position. We still have a chance to get out, and I believe that's what Trump is doing. He's keeping us out of the one world entities, the World Health, the World Trade, the German Franco Alliance, the Green New Deal. All this is wanting to be under control of one government. Now, I want to show you something. It's going to blow your mind. There's this thing going on right now. They're trying to, like I said, remember the one world government's trying to make everything new, trying to change it all, trying to control the world. There's a thing called the Great Reset. These world leaders want to reset everything. They say we need a new change. We need to change it all. Again, it says it all in the Bible. It's a spirit. It's the spirit of the Antichrist working in the world today. And it's called the Great Reset. They're getting all the leaders to ally with them, convincing them that this is the best idea for the world today. And it's the spirit of the Antichrist. It's the spirit of the dark, the kingdom of darkness. But check this out.
Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system.
We have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path.
What is it that would make it so that history would look at this crisis as the great opportunity for reset?
The Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call.
The world's problems fit on three sides of a triangle. It's one versus many, man versus nature, and the unfortunate foundation is long-term versus short-term.
Any recovery stimulus should have green conditions attached to it.
We have to change our economy dramatically in the next 20 or 30 years, and the next 10 years is absolutely decisive.
The recovery has to be greener than any of the previous recoveries.
And then we need to couple that with new initiatives to equip more people with the digital skills they'll need.
We have to live up to the expectations which we have created, and we will do so.
The Great Reset. Wow. They're saying we all need to get on board. This whole green thing, it's another way that remember when it talks about believers will fall away from the faith, from teachings that sound good to the ear, the soothsayers. That's what the Green Deal is. The Green Deal is saying our world is falling apart. We need to get rid of all our gas, all our fuel, everything that pollutes the air. But that's just a way of getting rid of our resources for us to become weaker and give the government, or the one world nation, I should say, control of everything. Our world is not falling apart. Our world is not overcrowded. Just drive out any direction. Drive north, east, west. There's hours and hours of empty land. We're not overcrowded. We're just all trying to cram into the same spot, but this world is not overcrowded. There is plenty of empty, free land out there. Don't let the soothsayers tell you that we're an overpopulated world. So the Great Reset, these guys are all talking about how we need to get on the same page. We need the One World Health Organization. We need the One World money. We need a Great Reset. We need to start over. This is a good idea. Remember, I was talking about Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the UN, the one who gave a speech that said we need to have teeth, iron teeth, to take control of these issues. This is him here.
The Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call. As you rightly say, it is imperative that we reimagine, rebuild, redesign, reinvigorate, and rebalance our world.
That we do business, that we live, and that we have grown accustomed to in the industrial age will have to be changed. We will have to leave that behind us in the next 30 years to go.
So everybody's talking about this change, this Great Reset. Our world's falling apart. We need to do something and do something. So they made a mistake. They invited Trump to one of these meetings. Now this is where we need to pray. we are fighting a spiritual battle. We're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're not fighting for Trump. We're not fighting for anybody else. We're fighting what are we fighting? We're fighting a spiritual battle. Why do I say that? So you invite Trump, the guy who is fighting for you and me and our freedoms, for this land to stay free. And it's a trip. It's a trip. If you were in this situation and you had these world leaders telling you need to get in line, you need to fall in line with what we're doing, the whole world's in, you need to come over, and come over quick. They're taking this whole COVID thing as their opportunity for the Great Reset. But you made a mistake. You invited Donald Trump. You let him in on the secret. That was a mistake. Donald Trump is fighting for the American people. Why do I say that? This is why I say that.
We're committed to conserving the majesty of God's creation and the natural beauty of our world. But to embrace the possibilities of tomorrow, we must reject the perennial prophets of doom and their predictions of the apocalypse. These alarmists always demand the same thing: absolute power to dominate, transform, and control every aspect of our lives. We will never let radical socialists destroy our economy, wreck our country.
Did you hear that? He said we will never let radicals destroy our economy, our country. So there's one thing that these guys are always looking for. It's total and absolute domination. He said we'll never do that. Right in their own meeting. Now is that boldness? Do you think he needs our prayers? Because I'll tell you what, Biden and Obama were all about this. And if you watch and notice, when Obama was transferring over power, he was telling Trump that we need to fall in line, that our freedom comes from a natural transition of power. And if you need help, Mr. Trump, we're here to help you. What he was getting at was the transfer of power. They want to give up the USA's power and authority and money and the power that the whole world is so envious of and wants to get rid of. So after that, what happens? After Donald Trump made that speech, and he made another one, but let me show you what happened.
And it is a dangerous country right now. It will be absolutely dangerous if Trump wins re-election. Trump wins re-election. Trump wins re-election.
Now watch this.
The General Assembly routinely votes 185 against the United States on almost everything right now.
He's saying that the United States is dangerous because we're not falling in line with their philosophies. He said our council goes against almost everything against the USA. What did he say? 185 different votes against Trump, pretty much. The USA. Someone standing up for us in the gap with boldness. Now you know why everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, now you know why Trump is so hated by these government officials, by these world leaders. Because he's not in line with them. He's not going along with the world's way of thinking. He said, we got to fight for this great country. This country was built upon patriots and freedom. So we'll never succumb to what you guys are saying. And that's why Trump is hated so much. Here's another speech he gave.
Wise leaders always put the good of their own people and their own country first. The future does not belong to globalists. The future belongs to patriots.
Future doesn't belong to globalists. It belongs to patriots. This is the time for saints to start interceding for our governmental officials. Start praying, start fasting, start interceding for our leaders. It's a tough thing to do what he did. And that's not in front of his classroom. That's in front of the world nation, world leaders. We weren't built on that. The wall. What's that wall for? It wasn't meant to keep the Mexicans out. That was just a side note, because that obviously it's going to happen. There's a wall there. That's not what it was for. It was to keep the world government out. He's trying to protect us. It's not about Trump again. It's about the spirit of the Antichrist working in the world today. We need to realize that. Come election time, vote your beliefs. What are your beliefs? What falls in line with godly beliefs? Is it abortion? Is it sex trafficking? You notice that they're starting to put it out little by little, that pedophilia is a natural urge and that it should be accepted. No. That's how these things come into play. Remember, if you look back, things that are so anti-godly today, so sinful, separation from God, so against God's word. It all happened subtly, little by little by little by little. And now it's a norm. It's accepted. And that's what they're trying to do with this whole speeches about pedophilia. What do you believe and what do you stand for? Let that be who you vote for and why you vote. But again, I strongly believe that if it's not Mr. Trump and it falls back into the Obama-Biden way of thinking, it's going to go to the UN. Those guys are going to love it. They're going to say, Biden's easy. He's already on our side. Now look what the head of the UN said.
I consider the Trump administration a danger to the world that will disappear in 2020.
A danger to the world that will disappear in 2020. They want them out. They want them out. What's Shane about? Trump was never supposed to win. Hillary is all in line with that as well. When Trump won, they were like, oh snap. That's why all this stuff started coming out against them. They wanted to charge him with the whole Russian spy involvement and how they twisted the election, and how they did some kind of fraudulent scheme on the election. That whole thing was just a front. He was never convicted of none of that. It was them trying to get him out right away. Right away. I said, oh, he's not supposed to win. But see, that's the power that the people have. What did God say? If my people repent, he will hear our cries. Did you know that when Hitler was about to take over the world, what happened? He was so close. He was so there. He had a powerful army. What happened? Winston Churchill, knowing that they were about to be, they called for a 3-day fast, national day of fasting and prayer. That happened. Hitler was saying, wow, this is happening too easy. Something's going on. I think something's wrong. I think we're falling in a trap. Called everybody out, called his leaders back for a meeting just to see what was going on. He's like, man, this is too easy. Something's wrong. Come back. Let's reconvene. Let's meet again. Let's see what's going on. Let's talk about it. So they did that. Gave the troops time to recoup, pull out of where they were stuck at. And when Germany came back, they got defeated. All because of a national day of fasting and prayer. 3 days. So prayer works. We can make a change. We can stay free. We can have our freedom. We can keep our freedoms. We can keep this great country that God has blessed us with without giving our powers away, our freedoms away, I should say. So think about that. Pray about that. Churches, start praying for our leaders. This election coming up is not just another election of having the nicest guy there. This is about the world and the spirit of the Antichrist trying to take over. The fourth beast is alive. The spirit of the fourth beast is in the world and working today. The spirit of the Antichrist. We need to come against that. And we need to look up, because our redemption draweth nigh. I'll see you next time.